Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about one of the most fundamental truths of personal growth. What you focus on determines your reality. And I want to challenge every person here, especially the men in this room, to take a hard look at where your focus is going. What you focus on determines your reality. It's one of the most powerful truths of life, yet so many people underestimate the depth of this statement. Focus is not just about paying attention to something. It's about where you direct your energy, your emotions, and your effort. The mind is like a magnifying glass. Wherever you point it, it amplifies. If your focus is on growth, progress, and achieving your goals, those areas of your life begin to expand. But if your focus is scattered, dwelling on distractions, problems, or superficial pursuits, your life starts to reflect that chaos. Your focus is the foundation of your identity. Whatever you consistently give attention to will ultimately shape the person you become. The reason so many people feel stuck in their lives isn't because they're incapable, unworthy, or unlucky. It's because they're focusing on the wrong things. Imagine a farmer planting seeds. If he spends all his time focusing on the weeds growing in the field instead of tending to the crops, what happens? The weeds take over, but if he focuses on nurturing the crops, the harvest will flourish. Your mind works the same way. Focus feeds whatever you give energy to, whether it's positive or negative. Most people don't realize that focus is a choice. Every day, every moment, you are deciding, whether consciously or unconsciously, what deserves your attention. But here's the thing. The world is full of distractions. Social media, instant gratification, the opinions of others, these are all competing for your focus. If you let those distractions win, they drain your energy and keep you stuck in mediocrity. Weakness comes from misplaced focus. When your attention is constantly being pulled in different directions, it's impossible to build anything meaningful. Strength comes when you consciously direct your focus toward what matters most. Your purpose, your goals. What's dangerous is how easily focus can become a habit. If you're not careful, you'll find yourself locked into patterns of thought that don't serve you. Think about it. How many people focus on problems instead of solutions? On what they lack instead of what they can create? On what other people think instead of what they truly want? These thought patterns become a prison, trapping you in a mindset that limits your potential. You need a way out. In 6 months or less, you will create a new mindset by day, but the good news is that focus can be redirected. You can train yourself to focus on what empowers you instead of what drains you. It's not easy, but it's simple. The key to mastering focus lies in understanding your priorities. Not everything deserves your attention. Just because something feels urgent doesn't mean it's important. Strong people understand this distinction. They learn to say no to distractions so they can say yes to what truly matters. They don't waste energy worrying about things outside their control because they know their power lies in directing their focus toward what they can influence. Weak people, on the other hand, spread their focus thin, trying to juggle everything at once. They get lost in the noise and wonder why they're not making progress. Your reality is built from the inside out. The way you think, the emotions you feel, the actions you take, they all stem from your focus. If you constantly focus on scarcity, you'll see a world of limitations. But if you focus on abundance, opportunities will appear everywhere. This isn't just motivational talk, it's how the mind works. Your brain filters the world based on what you tell it to look for. If you're focusing on negativity, that's what you'll notice. But if you train your mind to focus on progress, you'll start finding solutions, ideas, and paths forward that you never noticed before. You have to guard your focus like your life depends on it. Because it does. Where your focus goes, your energy flows and your results follow. It's not enough to hope things will change or to wish for a better life. You have to take control of your focus and aim it at what you want to create. That's how you change your reality. You have to choose every single day to direct your attention toward growth, to align your focus with your purpose, and to ignore the distractions that try to pull you off track. It's a discipline, but it's one that leads to true strength and success. And weak men seek validation instead of building self-worth. This is a truth that lies at the heart of so many struggles men face in their lives. Validation is external, it's fleeting, inconsistent, and dependent on others. Self-worth, on the other hand, is internal. It's solid, unshakable, and rooted in who you are. The problem begins when men start confusing the two. They think that seeking approval from others will somehow lead to feeling good about themselves. They chase compliments, attention, and recognition, believing that these external sources will fill the void within. But the truth is, they never do. When a man bases his worth on validation, he gives away his power. He places his happiness and sense of self in the hands of other people. He becomes dependent on their opinions, their praise, and their acceptance. If they approve of him, he feels good for a moment. But the second that approval disappears, or worse, turns into criticism, his confidence crumbles. A man who lives for validation is like a leaf in the wind, constantly being blown in different directions by the opinions of others. He has no foundation, no stability, because his sense of self isn't coming from within. This constant need for validation creates a vicious cycle. The more a man seeks approval, the more he neglects himself. Instead of focusing on his own growth, his own purpose, and his own values, he spends all his energy trying to impress others. He shapes his actions and decisions around what he thinks will gain him recognition. He becomes a performer, constantly trying to live up to other people's expectations, instead of a creator who builds a life based on his own terms. This kind of living is exhausting, unfulfilling, and ultimately destructive. Weakness doesn't come from being criticized or rejected. It comes from being dependent on others to define your worth. When a man ties his self-esteem to how others see him, he becomes vulnerable to manipulation, disappointment, and failure. He's easily influenced because he fears losing the validation he craves. He tolerates disrespect, avoids challenges, and sacrifices his principles just to maintain the approval of others. This isn't strength, it's weakness in its rawest form. A man who seeks validation is not living for himself. He's living as a reflection of everyone else's expectations. True self-worth is built from the inside out. It comes from knowing who you are, what you stand for, and what you're capable of. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. A strong man doesn't rely on others to tell him he's enough. He decides that for himself. He measures his worth not by how others react to him, but by the standards he holds himself to. He invests his time and energy into becoming better, not because he needs validation, but because he values himself enough to grow. Building self-worth requires facing hard truths. It requires looking in the mirror and taking responsibility for your life. Weak men avoid this because it's uncomfortable. It's much easier to blame others or seek distractions than to do the work of self-reflection and growth. But the men who choose to take this path, the path of accountability and self-mastery, discover a kind of confidence that no one can take away. They stop needing validation because they know their value isn't tied to anyone else's opinion. The paradox is that the more a man focuses on building himself, the less he needs external validation and the more respect he earns from others naturally. People are drawn to strength, to confidence, and to authenticity. When a man stops chasing approval and starts living with purpose, he becomes magnetic. His energy shifts from neediness to abundance. He no longer needs to impress anyone because he's already impressed with himself. It's a shift in mindset, a decision to stop looking outward for what can only come from within. Self-worth isn't something you find, it's something you create. It's built through discipline, through honoring your commitments to yourself, through taking risks and learning from failure, and through consistently showing up for your life. It's the foundation of true strength and success, and it can only come from within you. Strength comes from having a clear mission and purpose. Without a mission, a man drifts. He moves through life reacting to whatever comes his way, without direction, without clarity, and without power. Purpose is the anchor that holds you steady in the storm, the compass that guides you when everything else seems uncertain. It's not just an idea or a dream. It's the foundation of your identity and the driving force behind your actions. And when a man lacks purpose, he loses focus, motivation, and drive. He becomes aimless, letting life happen to him instead of taking charge and shaping his destiny. A mission gives a man something to fight for, something to work toward, and something to become. It gives meaning to his struggles and transforms challenges into opportunities for growth. Without a mission, even the smallest setbacks feel overwhelming because there's no bigger picture to put them in perspective. Purpose is what turns pain into power and failure into fuel. A man with a clear mission doesn't waste time on distractions. He doesn't get caught up in the noise of the world because he knows exactly where he's going and why he's going there. Every decision he makes is filtered through the lens of his purpose. He's not pulled in 100 different directions by fleeting desires or the opinions of others. His mission gives him focus, clarity, and discipline. He's able to prioritize what truly matters and let go of what doesn't. This is what separates strong men from weak men. Strong men know their purpose and they live it every day. When a man discovers his purpose, he gains an unshakable sense of confidence. It's not the kind of confidence that comes from ego or external validation. It's the kind that comes from knowing you're on the right path. It's the kind that comes from aligning your actions with your values and living in integrity with yourself. This kind of confidence doesn't waver when things get tough because it's rooted in something deeper than circumstances. It's rooted in the understanding that you're here for a reason, and that reason drives you to keep going no matter what. Purpose also brings fulfillment. So many men chase happiness thinking it's something they'll find in success, in relationships, or in material things. But happiness is fleeting. It comes and goes. Fulfillment, on the other hand, is lasting. It comes from living a life of meaning, from contributing to something greater than yourself, and from becoming the person you were meant to be. A man with purpose wakes up every morning with a sense of excitement and determination because he knows his life has meaning. He's not just existing, he's living with intention. But finding your purpose isn't always easy. It requires self-reflection, honesty, and a willingness to face uncomfortable truths about yourself. It requires you to ask hard questions. What do I truly want? What am I passionate about? What impact do I want to have on the world? And most importantly, who do I need to become to fulfill that mission? These questions aren't always easy to answer, but they're essential. They force you to look beyond the surface and connect with what truly matters to you. A man's mission isn't just about achieving goals, it's about becoming. It's about growth, evolution, and transformation. It's about stepping into the best version of yourself and living in alignment with your highest potential. When you have a clear mission, everything in your life starts to fall into place. Your actions become intentional, your relationships become more meaningful, and your sense of purpose becomes unshakable. Purpose gives you strength, and that strength allows you to face whatever life throws at you with resilience and determination. Focus on becoming, not chasing. This simple principle holds the power to transform the way you live your life. Most people spend their energy chasing external things, money, relationships, status, recognition, believing that achieving these things will make them happy, fulfilled, or successful. But the truth is, chasing creates a cycle of constant striving and dissatisfaction. When you're chasing, you're always reaching for something outside yourself, something you don't yet have. This mindset places your sense of worth, happiness, and success in the future, somewhere out of reach, instead of grounding it in the present moment and who you are becoming. Chasing is rooted in lack. It's driven by the belief that you're incomplete or unworthy as you are, and that you need to obtain something external to fill the gap. This mindset creates a sense of desperation, neediness, and insecurity. People can sense it, and it pushes them away. Opportunities feel further out of reach because you're operating from a place of scarcity. There's only a certain amount of energy, and nobody does more. The more you chase, the more you reinforce the belief that you're not enough. And this belief creates a self-fulfilling cycle that keeps you stuck. Becoming, on the other hand, shifts your focus inward. Instead of chasing after external things, you commit to becoming the person who naturally attracts and creates the life you want. It's about growth, self-mastery, and alignment. When you focus on becoming, you stop relying on external circumstances to validate your worth. You take ownership of your life, your actions, and your mindset. You realize that everything you're chasing is simply a reflection of the qualities you need to develop within yourself. Becoming is about stepping into your potential. It's about identifying the kind of person you want to be and taking consistent action to embody that vision. If you want success, focus on becoming disciplined, focused, and persistent. If you want meaningful relationships, focus on becoming authentic, compassionate, and confident. If you want financial abundance, focus on becoming resourceful, knowledgeable, and proactive. Everything you want is tied to who you are becoming. And when you shift your focus to personal growth, the things you used to chase start to come to you naturally. The key difference between chasing and becoming is where your energy goes. Chasing external things drains your energy because you're constantly looking outside yourself for fulfillment. Becoming energizes you because it's an internal process of growth and self-discovery. When you focus on becoming, you stop comparing yourself to others and start competing with the person you were yesterday. You embrace the journey instead of obsessing over the destination. Come before here. This shift in perspective creates a sense of freedom, empowerment, and inner peace. Becoming requires patience and persistence. It's not about instant results or quick fixes. It's about long-term transformation. This process can be uncomfortable because it forces you to confront your weaknesses, insecurities, and limiting beliefs, but it's in this discomfort that growth happens. Every step you take toward becoming the person you aspire to be builds confidence, self-respect, and resilience. You begin to trust yourself because you're putting in the work and showing up for your life. When you focus on becoming, you start to see challenges and setbacks as opportunities for growth. Instead of being discouraged by failure, you use it as feedback to improve. You develop a growth mindset, which allows you to learn from every experience and keep moving forward. This mindset shift is what separates people who live with purpose and fulfillment from those who are stuck in the cycle of chase. The beauty of focusing on becoming is that it puts the power back in your hands. You no longer feel at the mercy of external circumstances or other people's opinions. You realize that the only thing you can truly control is yourself, your actions, your attitude, and your effort. This realization is incredibly liberating because it means your success and happiness are no longer dependent on anything outside of you. They come from within, from the person you are becoming every single day. No relationship can save you. Self-mastery is key. This is one of the most important truths every person needs to understand, especially when it comes to building a strong, fulfilling life. Relationships can enrich your life in countless ways, but they should never be the source of your worth or happiness. If you rely on another person to complete you, you're setting yourself up for disappointment and imbalance. A healthy relationship can support you, encourage you, and provide joy, but it should never be the thing that defines you. True strength comes from within, from mastering yourself and your own life. Too many people enter relationships with the belief that the other person will somehow fix them or make them whole. They carry emotional baggage, unresolved issues, and a lack of direction, thinking that love or companionship will heal them. But the reality is, no one can fix you. No one can give you the emotional stability, the confidence, or the sense of purpose that only you can give yourself. If you're waiting for someone else to do that for you, you're placing an enormous burden on them that they're not equipped to carry. Self-mastery is the foundation of a strong, thriving relationship. When you master yourself, you become emotionally self-sufficient. You don't depend on others to validate your feelings, lift your mood, or give you direction. You take responsibility for your emotions, your actions, and your growth. You understand that happiness, fulfillment, and peace come from within, and that you can choose these things for yourself regardless of external circumstances. This is what makes you resilient, capable, and grounded in any situation, whether it's in your career, your friendships, or your romantic relationships. When you operate from a place of self-mastery, you approach relationships from a place of abundance, not neediness. You don't enter into a relationship because you feel incomplete, but because you have something to offer. You're able to give love, support, and encouragement freely without expecting anything in return. This creates a dynamic of mutual respect and growth where both people can thrive and evolve together. But if you enter a relationship because you're looking to someone else to fill a void, the relationship becomes unbalanced. It becomes about what you can take rather than what you can give. This dynamic leads to dissatisfaction, frustration, and ultimately disconnection. The truth is, if you don't have a solid foundation of self-mastery, no relationship, no matter how great, can make you happy. Even the best relationships will leave you feeling unfulfilled if you're not happy with who you are. Self-mastery means taking ownership of your life. It means doing the hard work of self-improvement, facing your fears, overcoming your limitations, and creating a vision for your future. When you focus on mastering yourself, you build the strength and resilience that allow you to navigate life's challenges, including relationships, with confidence and clarity. Self-mastery also means understanding your own needs and boundaries. When you're in a healthy, balanced relationship with yourself, you're clear on what you want and what you're willing to accept. You don't tolerate disrespect, manipulation, or behavior that goes against your values. You stand firm in your boundaries because you know your worth and you trust yourself. When you've mastered yourself, you don't need to settle for anything less than what aligns with your values and goals. This strength allows you to attract the right people into your life and make decisions that support your growth and happiness. True strength comes from the understanding that you are the architect of your own life. You are the one who shapes your reality through your choices, actions, and mindset. While relationships are important and meaningful, they should never be the source of your strength. You are the source of your strength. And when you master yourself, when you take ownership of your life, your growth, and your happiness, you create a foundation that allows you to engage in relationships from a place of power, clarity, and love. Relationships become the complement to your life, not the center of it. And in this way, they can enrich your journey, helping you become the best version of yourself, rather than being the thing you rely on to fill the emptiness. Build your legacy through leadership, growth, and action. Every person has the potential to leave a lasting impact, to create something that endures beyond their time on this earth. But building a legacy is not something that happens by accident. It's the result of intentional, focused effort over time. It's about living with purpose, showing up consistently, and making decisions that align with your deepest values and aspirations. Legacy isn't just about material success, it's about the influence you have, the lives you touch, and the example you set for future generations. The first step in building a meaningful legacy is leadership. Leadership doesn't necessarily mean holding a title or being in charge of a group of people. It means taking ownership of your life, your decisions, and your actions. It means leading by example, showing others what's possible through the way you live. Leadership is about inspiring others to rise to their highest potential, whether that's in your family, your community, or your workplace. True leadership starts with self-leadership. When you lead yourself with integrity, discipline, and vision, you naturally inspire others to do the same. Leadership is also about making difficult decisions and taking responsibility for the outcomes. Life is filled with challenges, and it's easy to shy away from responsibility when things get tough. But strong leaders don't avoid challenges. They confront them head on. They make the hard choices even when they're uncomfortable, because they understand that those decisions will shape their future and the future of those they lead. Leadership is about making decisions with the long term in mind, not just seeking short-term gratification or avoiding discomfort. It's about having the courage to take the right path, even when it's not the easiest or most popular one. Growth is another essential component of building a lasting legacy. Growth is a constant, ongoing process. It requires you to push beyond your comfort zone, to confront your fears, and to challenge your limitations. Building a legacy is about expanding your capabilities, deepening your knowledge, and continuously evolving as a person. If you're not growing, you're stagnating, and stagnation doesn't leave a legacy. It leaves nothing. The foundation of any legacy is built on the consistent pursuit of personal and professional growth. You must commit to becoming better every single day. Growth doesn't just happen on its own. It requires intentional effort. In addition to personal growth, the growth of those around you is also part of building a legacy. A great leader doesn't just focus on their own development. They invest in the growth of others. Whether it's mentoring, teaching, or simply leading by example, growth is contagious. When you help others grow, you create a ripple effect that extends far beyond your own influence. Your legacy becomes intertwined with the growth of those you've impacted, and together you build something greater than what any one person could achieve alone. But growth and leadership are meaningless without action. Action is the bridge between intention and achievement. It's not enough to have big dreams and lofty goals. You must take consistent, intentional steps toward those goals every day. Without action, your vision remains just that, an idea, a dream, a wish. The people who leave lasting legacies are the ones who take action, who show up every day, no matter how difficult, and move forward with purpose. Action creates momentum, and momentum leads to results. Taking action means being willing to fail. It means putting in the work even when it's hard, even when you don't see immediate results. Action requires persistence, determination, and resilience. The path to building a legacy is rarely smooth, and the road is filled with obstacles. But the willingness to act, to push forward despite the challenges, is what separates those who create lasting impact from those who fade into obscurity. Your legacy is a reflection of the decisions you make every day. It's the sum of your leadership, your growth, and the actions you take. It's not something you can wait for, it's something you must build. Every choice you make contributes to the legacy you leave behind. And the beauty of it is, it's never too late to start. You can begin building your legacy today with every decision you make, every action you take, and every life you touch. It's a process that takes time, but it starts with a single step forward. In conclusion, the path to true strength and fulfillment lies in mastering yourself, leading with purpose, and focusing on growth. Weakness is defined by dependence on external validation and the pursuit of fleeting desires, while strength comes from within, built on self-worth, clarity of mission, and consistent action. Relationships, success, and happiness should not be the sources of your validation. Rather, they should complement a life already rich with purpose, direction, and self-mastery. To truly live a meaningful life and leave a lasting legacy, you must commit to becoming the best version of yourself. Every step you take toward personal growth, leadership, and resilience not only shapes your future, but also influences those around you. Your legacy isn't just built on what you achieve, but on the way you show up in the world, the actions you take, and the impact you make. It starts with you today.